Hello, thanks for electing to play this video. I'm Geoff Phillips and this is a video in the series Inkscape for Teachers. In this tutorial I'll be showing you how I created these reasonably realistic looking dice. And I started by using the polygon tool over here, and make sure you've got 6 corners and Control Shift Enter and drag around so that the points are at the top like that. Now with that selected, I'm going to go Path, Object to Path. And if you do have a fill or a colour in there, make sure you click this cross down here so that it's transparent. Now the next step is I'm going to use the Bezier pen tool here, or B, and I'm just going to draw in the edges. Now one way to do that is to perhaps copy this edge, and I've got snapping tools turned on. I'll press enter when I've finished there. You can see the snapping tools, cusp nodes turned on there and snap to paths, and I'm going to move this up to there. Now I've got a different stroke width there apparently, doesn't particularly matter at this stage. I'm going to also do another edge, the one down here. This will be a separate edge. Click and enter, and with that selected I'll shift click the other 2 edges I did, Control G to group that. Now I'll leave it as black for the moment, but I'm going to later change that to white to give this a shiny effect. I might just move this, oh no, I don't have to move it out of the way, but you can move it out of the way if you want to, if things are getting in the way of each other. But if I click on the outside perimeter there, and I'm going to use an extension now, Extensions, Modify Path, Rounded Corners. You may not have that installed. If you want to find that, it's an add-on for Inkscape. Do a search for Inkscape Extensions, and then after you arrive at the site that has those, then look within that site for rounded corners. Download a zip file and extract a couple of files to the Inkscape Extensions directory, wherever that is. I've got a video that describes this in a little bit more detail in my Inkscape for Teachers list. Anyway, I'll apply that. Now I've got a corner radius of 5mm, that's about right. I'll do a live preview. You can see it does that nicely. Apply and close. Now you can see this Y shape that represents the edges that I can see extends past the edges, the dice edges now. So if I click one corner and Control Shift and just try and get that in there, it's snapping, so I'll turn the snapping off and I'll just try and drag that down to about there. So that's within the shape. Okay, now I'm going to give that a colour. Look, let's make it yellow for this one. And I'm going to blur this before I put the... Well, actually before I do that I might do the dots. Now I used the ellipses and circles tool, E. Just drag out a circle, give it a fill. Maybe get rid of the shift, click the cross to get rid of the border. Select tool, let's look at the size. It looks like 2.5mm is the one I've got. It might be a little bit big. Look, yeah, I might change that to 2mm. I'll click the proportion lock, change that to 2 and enter. Now it looks not too bad, I think. Now with this orientated this way, the way we want to skew this dot is in the direction from the thin corner to the other thin corner. Forget about the 3 dimensions. If you just look at this shape here, which is almost a rhombus, we're looking to skew in this direction here. So I'll click on it a second time and I'll skew it up like that by dragging that handle. And once I'm happy with that, I'll put that there. What you can do is you can use the Bezier pen tool. I'll just click to get an idea of the diagonal, click enter, and that might help you decide where to put that better in the centre there. Okay, I'll click on that line and delete it now. So that might be the one face. I can then drag this, or Control C to copy it. If I want to perhaps Control V, let's do 4, Control V. But first of all, again, I've got to orientate this so that the stretch is in the longest diagonal if I'm looking at a 2D shape there. So I can click a second time, drag it around, perhaps to there, and Control C that one, Control V, Control V, Control V, and you can just do it by eye, that might be okay, or you can set up lines and then delete them to try and get it more accurate. I won't do that now. You saw the sort of thing I did with diagonal there. Now let's paste one in here, Control V, but again I want the skew going this long way from the long diagonal if I was looking at that as a two-dimensional parallelogram or rhombus. So I'll click it, while it's got the rotation handles, I'll drag, oops, see I must have dragged the centre of rotation out there. I'll drag that back to the centre of the shape, or you can shift click the rotation centre and it puts it back in the centre. Now I'll drag that so it's there, and I might do 5 there, so Control C that one, Control V, Control V, Control V and Control V. That's actually not too bad in it for a hurried effort. So you can see I'm almost there. Again, you can put in diagonal lines and line things up if you want to. Okay, now for this blur, if I click on that, I'm going to change it to white by shift clicking the line and making it white. And then under the fill and stroke menu, stroke style, there's a blur box here. You just keep clicking that box up. It might be something like that. The other thing you can play around with is bumping up the width of that, and then you can blur it a bit more. I think perhaps something like that doesn't look too bad. And I'll click on the outline there and shift click the cross so there's no outline, and there's a dice. Now once you've done that, you might want to group it, so I'll drag around that, Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, and if you wanted just a graphic, you might want a couple of oddly rolled dice. You can use the square brackets just to rotate a little bit, something like that. You can also, if I click on that, I can give it another colour. I can make that blue perhaps. That's obliterated my dots. Let's see if I can send it to the back. No. It's Control Z, that's because I've turned the dots blue as well. I'll have to Control click on the yellow. I'll click away, Control click on the yellow, now change the fill to blue, and so forth. So you can create some nice coloured dice using those effects. Just the blur effect was the main thing, and skewing those dots. I hope that's of use to you. It might jazz up or spice up a probability worksheet or some notes. Thanks again for watching.